I hope that you answered this question. This is the only thing that makes me question everything. I am a practicing Muslim but have depression because of this question. The question is, in Islam, to get all to worship Allah, Allah tells us to follow a set of rules written by Him, and we follow them, we will go to heaven. And if we don't, we will go to hell. Now every single Muslim feared Allah and followed everything from the Quran and the Sunnah because he did not want to be sent to hell, and only did all of this with the sole purpose that Allah was pleased with him and will send him to heaven. Now, isn't this all based on just one thing, and that is selfishness? Aren't they all doing all of this, living this difficult life full of hardships, along with following all of the rules just so that they can enter heaven? But isn't Islam against selfishness? Isn't wanting something for yourself selfishness? So isn't all of this selfishness? The mere thought of heaven is the only thing that can motivate a selfish being such as humans to resist the urges, follow the rules given by us by God, fear Him and worship Him. If you answer this question, please let me know that you did. You will help a suffering student who has not been able to get this answer from anybody. The question posed by Zohar Nisar from Pakistan is that this question is troubling him a lot. And she says that all of us Muslims, we obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we follow the Quran and Sunnah because we want to please Allah and we want to go to heaven. So isn't this selfishness? That all of us are doing all these rules and regulations, following the Sharia, following the Quran, following the Hadith, because we want to please Allah and go to heaven. So our sole purpose is to go to heaven. Isn't this selfishness? And isn't there a ruling in Islam that you should not be selfish? You should not be selfish. So aren't we contradicting? That in Islam it teaches us not to be selfish. Then we are selfish to go to heaven. This has been troubling him. Sister, first let me correct you. The ruling as far as not to be selfish is concerning worldly things. That you should not be selfish and strive only for the dunya. Allah says in the Quran that if you strive for dunya, I will give you dunya. I will not give you akhirah. If you strive for akhirah, Allah will give you akhirah and dunya both. So as far as striving for the worldly things and having a greed for the worldly things is haram. But striving for worldly things to earn a living is not haram. But the greed in such a way that you are selfish and don't want for others, that is haram. But just striving for worldly things, which is a requirement, or striving for earning a salary, which is a requirement, is not haram at all. So the greed for the worldly material things in such a way that takes you away from Allah, that is haram in Islam. But striving for things in this world which is a requirement and not having a greed for it is permitted. Let me correct your knowledge of Islam. Coming to your main part, that aren't we being selfish because we want to go to Jannah? You said in your question correctly that we are doing it to please Allah so that Allah will put us in Jannah. So our main intention is to please Allah. Our main intention is to please Allah. Now when we please Allah, our reward is Jannah. So if you are pleasing someone else, and especially a creator, if you please other human being as long as they are not going against the Sharia, it is good. But if you are pleasing a creator, it's a fard. Our creator Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you this life, has given you the food, has given you the clothing, has given you all this ni'mah. It's our duty to obey Him. Now when we obey Him, our reward is Jannah. So pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not selfishness at all. Coming to your question again, that even if I agree with you, if someone is doing all these acts only to go to Jannah, is it selfish? Yes, but it is permissible selfishness. When you are selfish that you want to go to Jannah, and while you are striving for Jannah, you aren't preventing anyone else to go to Jannah. If you prevent others from going to Jannah, even you shall not enter Jannah. So the rule of entering Jannah is that you try, besides you striving for entering Jannah, you strive others also to enter Jannah. So when you want to go to Jannah and you want to strive others to enter Jannah, no way is it called selfishness. If you say only I will go to Jannah, I will not allow others to go to Jannah, that is selfishness, and that will not take you to Jannah. If you are striving to go to Jannah by offering salah, by giving charity, by helping the others, yes, at the same time you also have to strive for others to go to Jannah. You cannot tell others, don't give charity, don't offer salah, only I will offer salah. So if you say only I will offer salah, you don't offer salah, I believe in Tawhid, you don't believe in God, then that is called selfishness, and that will not take you to Jannah. You are doing something which is haram. You are believing in Tawhid and asking others to do shirk. That will not take you to Jannah. So the Islamic concept of pleasing Allah is, Allah also says that besides you going to Jannah, you should do dawah to others and get them closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, get them closer to Islam. Do dawah even to the non-Muslims. Even to the Muslims, you do Islam. So in no way will it be called that if you are obeying the commandment of Allah and you are entering Jannah, in no way will it be called selfishness. Selfishness means exclusive for yourself and not for others. So your definition of selfishness is wrong. So if you understand the definition of selfishness, all your problem will be solved. Number one, if you are doing it for yourself without breaking the Sharia rule, selfishness for the requirement which is there and which is not agreed, even for worldly things, that's acceptable. You are selfish that you are working hard as long as it's halal earning so that you earn money and you feed your family, it is allowed. But if it's agreed that you are doing haram things to earn wealth so that you can store it, it's haram. As far as obeying Allah, it's a fard. Following the Quran and the Sahih Hadith is a fard. Is it selfishness for akhirah? In no way. Even if I agree, it is selfishness that is taking you and for others. So the moment you do for others, it's not counted as selfishness. So no way will I call it selfish. Selfish means exclusively for yourself. What you're mainly doing is pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In return, the reward is Jannah. Even if I strive that I am believing in Tawheed, I am fasting, I am praying 5 times a day so that I go to Jannah, it is not selfishness at all. I am also striving for others to go to Jannah. I am doing dawah. Selfishness means exclusively for myself. So I strive besides myself going to Jannah, I strive that the other Muslims also should go to Jannah. I strive to the non-Muslims, to make them Muslims, to make them follow Tawheed, to make them offer Salah, to make them give Zakat, so that even they can go to Jannah. So in no way will this be called selfishness. So if you correct your thought process and correct your definition, this is no way selfish. In fact, it is a fard for every Muslim to dawah. It's a fard for us to offer Salah. It's a fard to give charity. And if you do this, then you will be a true follower of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a true follower of Quran and Sahih Hadith. Hope that answers the question.